If your cursor is hovering over the checkout button for an Apple TV right now, stop exactly what you are doing and close the tab. I am dead serious. Buying the current generation Apple TV today is quite literally throwing your hard-earned money directly into a fire. The entire tech space is losing its collective mind right now, and for incredibly good reason. A massive wave of leaks regarding the completely redesigned 2026 Apple TV just hit the internet, and what Cupertino is quietly cooking up in their labs is going to make your PS5 and your smart TV interface look like absolute fossils. We aren't talking about a new screensaver, a redesigned remote button, or a slightly faster user interface. We are looking at a highly calculated Trojan horse built to completely dominate your living room and lock you into the Apple ecosystem forever. Everyone keeps asking me in the comments, should I just buy the 2022 model on sale? No. Absolutely not. The crazy part is, industry insiders are highly confident the new physical hardware is completely finished. It is literally sitting on pallets in warehouses collecting dust as we speak. So why the massive delay? Why hasn't Apple dropped a press release? It comes down to one massive roadblock that Apple is obsessed with getting right. Apple Intelligence. Look at the 2022 Apple TV. It is limping along on a repurposed A15 Bionic chip paired with a measly 4 GB of RAM. That is nowhere near enough raw horsepower to run modern local AI models. Apple is flat out refusing to ship this new box until their massive next-generation Siri large language model is fully baked and optimized for tvOS. And let me clarify, I am not talking about the useless legacy Siri that cannot even set a basic pasta timer without getting confused. This is a fully localized AI brain designed to process your natural language instantly to run your smart home. And the best part is, it does it entirely on device without uploading your private household conversations to a server farm somewhere. To pull off that kind of heavy lifting right in your living room, Mark Gurman is reporting something frankly unbelievable. Apple is actively testing the A17 Pro and potentially even the unreleased A18 chips inside this tiny black box, flanked by a massive 8 GB of RAM. Let that sink in for just a second. They are taking the absolute bleeding-edge TSMC 3nm silicon right out of their $1,000 flagship iPhones and dropping it directly behind your television. Honestly, I'll believe it when I see it, but the supply chain evidence is stacking up way too fast to ignore at this point. This naturally brings us to the absolute wildest part of the entire leak. Apple is quietly building a covert gaming console. Over at the ELEC, analysts actively monitoring TSMC 3nm yields have been seeing massive, unexplained spikes in production that point directly to this hardware. Think about what happens when you drop desktop-class processing and hardware-accelerated ray tracing into a box that plugs directly into the wall. The game completely changes. If you have ever tried playing Resident Evil Village or Death Stranding on an iPhone, you already know the brutal reality of thermal throttling. Your phone gets wildly hot, the screen dims, and your frame rates absolutely tank after 20 minutes of intense gameplay. But an Apple TV does not have a battery to heat up. It is mostly empty space inside, meaning it has virtually unlimited thermal headroom to push that A17 Pro to its absolute maximum limit without breaking a sweat. It will not overheat, and unlike a PS5, it will not sound like a jet engine taking off in your living room. This makes me wonder though, and I want you to be totally honest with me. Are you guys actually planning to play heavy AAA games natively on an Apple TV? Or are you strictly using it as a daily driver for Netflix and YouTube? Let me know down in the comments because I really want to see if hardcore gamers are actually buying into this vision. But here is the thing. All of that insane processing power is completely useless if your stream is constantly buffering. You could literally slap an M4 Ultra chip inside the thing and it wouldn't matter if you have a weak wireless connection. According to heavily verified leaks pouring out of Mako Takara, Apple is debuting a brand new piece of custom silicon called the N1 networking chip. This completely rewrites the playbook. We are looking at fully integrated Wi-Fi 7 directly inside the new Apple TV. That means instantaneous 8K streaming readiness, zero buffering even in heavily congested apartment buildings, and ultra-low latency for competitive cloud gaming. Combine that with Bluetooth 6.0, and the connection to your wireless controllers and AirPods will be entirely unbreakable. Apple Pro has been aggressively teasing this exact silicon upgrade for months, and if it pans out, it instantly crowns the Apple TV as the fastest and most reliable smart home hub money can buy. And then there is the remote. That slippery little silver aluminum remote that seemingly vanishes into the void of your couch cushions every single week. Apple is finally addressing the biggest complaint users have had for years. Supply chain reports over at DigiTimes strongly indicate the brand new Siri remote will feature the exact same U2 ultra-wideband chip that currently lives inside your iPhone. Yes, precision finding is finally coming to your television remote. The next time it goes missing, you will just open the Find My app on your phone, and a giant glowing arrow will seamlessly lead you exactly to where it is hiding under a blanket. Tech fans have been practically begging for this seamless integration since day one, and it is an incredible quality of life upgrade that is long overdue. So, if Cupertino is packing this tiny box with TSMC 3nm chips, Wi-Fi 7, precision finding, and desktop-tier AAA gaming, you are probably expecting a massive price hike, right? Prepare to have your mind blown. Ming-Chi Kuo and a handful of other top-tier analysts are projecting a completely disruptive starting price of exactly $99. Wait, really? How on earth does Apple actually make a profit on that hardware? Ross Young pointed out the absolute genius behind the strategy. They are completely keeping the exact same external black plastic chassis to save millions upon millions of dollars on tooling and manufacturing. By actively avoiding a physical redesign, they can legally stuff the entire budget into the internal specs without actually raising the final price tag for the consumer. It is the classic Apple tax completely reversed. They are willingly taking a massive financial hit on the hardware because they aggressively want to crush Roku, Google TV, and the Amazon Fire Stick right out of the budget market. They are weaponizing this $99 box to force a highly advanced Apple Intelligence Hub into every single living room on Earth. Once they have you hooked inside that walled garden, they know you will happily subscribe to Apple Arcade, Apple TV Plus, and Apple Fitness. Suddenly, game developers have tens of millions of households sitting on hardware capable of running massive games natively. Why would a casual gamer spend $500 on a bulky dedicated console when their cheap streaming box plays top-tier games flawlessly? It is an absolutely terrifying prospect for Sony and Microsoft. So do yourself a massive favor. Keep your wallet shut tight right now, wait out the current generation, and let's watch closely to see if Apple actually pulls off the smartest hardware heist in tech history.